Just move a little closer. And I say, oh, it's a night we'll both remember. Oh, sweet surrender. Oh, we're moving close together. Wanna make your body mine through the night. Hot and sweet through the night. You're so fine, oh lady. Let your body take control. You're on my mind, baby. Just move a little closer. And I say, oh, it's a night we'll both remember. Oh, sweet surrender. Oh, we're moving close together. Wanna make your body mine for the night.
Good morning, everybody. Hi. Happy Tuesday. Just realized I didn't do something here, so that's why I'm not looking at you. Let's see. Let me fix this. Gosh darn it. Why didn't I do this ahead of time? It's Tuesday, and as I do often, I go on to Twitter to find things for the show. And as often happens, I come across stuff that makes me just smack myself in the head. Good God. What is wrong with this? I look so red. I got to fix that too. Anyway, just another day and more crap to talk about. We're going to get into a little bit of the Woke Brigade's issue with reality. And we'll talk a little bit about the coup, a little bit about happenings in Ukraine or Ukraine-related issues. Got a little Jen Psaki. God, give myself nightmares. And again, Biden administration's blaming everyone else for issues that they could just look in the mirror about. So anyway, nothing new, but it's all new every day. More of the same. So buckle up. We got another show. Play the intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog Studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, P. Dog Night.
Yes, Queen, stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P. Dog Night on the internet. And welcome back to the P. Dog Night channel. It's Tuesday, the 12th of April, 2022. What the hell did I do there? Oh, all I wanted to do is configure. Excuse me. I think I'm dying. I think I got the coof. Whoa, what happened to me? Okay, what the hell happened? Holy shit. What the hell did I do? Ah, there I am. I clicked the wrong button and I disappeared. Anyway, what I wanted to do was try to fix why I look so weird on here. Let's turn the brightness down. No, that's not working. How about this? Contrast. Turn the contrast down. Maybe that'll work. Oh, that helps. I look more normal now, don't I? Okay, anyway. Welcome to the show. I named the show Realitiphobic because I was trying to come up with a word that can be used when people are accused of being, in particular, transphobic. And not because, look, it seems that when you start, this is one area of human sexuality, identity, and all that stuff, where people are very quick to accuse you of either having a disdain, a fear, a discrimination, where it doesn't apply. Okay. And I know they're using the term as being anti-trans people or anti this or anti that. And that's not really the issue. Why? There we go. Do I look normal now? I kind of do. There's still there's a weird color thing going on here that I don't understand. There we go. Maybe that's it. I had to adjust some settings. Anyway, and particularly when it comes to these bills that we've been talking about over the last couple weeks regarding the parental rights bill and don't say gay and all that stuff. And what it really comes down to is a mental health issue and a societal issue that really just wants to have people suspend reality. And so I call it realitiphobic, and especially some of the people who make TikTok videos, for example, or people who want to teach your kids things that maybe you'd think aren't necessarily appropriate at the ages that they're talking about, because they're talking about kindergarten through third grade in Florida and in Alabama and some of these other states where they're starting to make similar laws, right? And and also the dubious science behind it. It's just an amazing just, what is the word I'm thinking? It's just an amazing push at changing reality to fit what people feel, what you feel. And I always question, one of the questions I always have is, well, how do you feel something that isn't a reality, that isn't a natural occurring thing? And so we're just gonna watch a couple tiki-takis and stuff like that and talk about, and look, I am, one of my mantras on this show is the people I talk about in my videos and live streams are just normal people with various opinions and their own lives. And I don't need help defending my positions. I like to talk about them, and I like you guys talking about them with me. But I really strongly prefer they didn't contact anyone we do talk about in these videos. If you have something new to add to the conversation, like something on their site or page or whatever, I'd love to hear it in my comment section or in my chat, which we do every day. But if you feel compelled to reply to them directly, or on a different platform, just do so in a respectful manner and keep my name out of it, because I don't want to ever be accused of sending people to go attack somebody. And because that's not the purpose of me talking about this. It's more a purpose of me talking about how this works in our society and how we deal with things. So I appreciate that. And you guys are very respectful people. And I love my audience. So I know that's not real difficult, but I always want to make that disclaimer, because if I ever get accused of something like that, I just need to make it clear that that's what I'm about. So, also, you know what? Something I never mentioned that much, and I'll do that before I'm going to say good morning, everybody. Something I rarely mention anymore is I do have a merch store. Now the only thing is in my merch store right now, and it's been that way for quite a while, is my Resist Fascism gear. So I'm wearing the Resist Fascism shirt. There's hats, there's There's other items. Some are just the old. You remember there was some kind of group called Resist Fascism? That's where I got the idea. And I'm like, oh, Resist Fascism. So you can do that if you go to my Streamlabs at pdognight.live in the upper right-hand corner, that way. Up there in the Streamlabs, there's a little merch tab, and you can click there if you want to check some of that out. I don't mention that very often, and I'm actually working on some new merch finally, because I've never really big into the merch, but a couple people bought some stuff for me, so I thought that was cool. And so I'll get into that more, but it's not a big part of my repertoire that I do here. But I do have a couple things if you didn't know, and I also have I have a Teespring store. I don't know if I have that linked in the description down below. So that might be, the Teespring store might be, the merch, the Streamlabs merch is up there. So anyway, just there. So anyway, let's say good morning to everyone here real quick, and then we'll get into the show. First in the chat today is our friend Avocados Diablo, who gets the bell. And thank you for being here. And also good morning to Septus Wolf, James Colley, woohoo! Also Rotten Corpses in the house, Neon Leon, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Also good morning Mike Savage, Blarg, and also why are you so angry? No, I'm not asking Mike Savage, why are you so angry? Why are you so angry is a person in the chat. That is a name, not a question. Happy Tuesday to you too also. Also, good morning, Dom O'Leary. Nice to have you back. Aaron Meredith, Neon Leon. Also, good morning to Somnambule Nation. My favorite Canadian Jaeger ponies in the house. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Stabbin' Joe Scarborough. Oh my gosh. Welcome back. I haven't seen you in a long time. Mass shooting in Brooklyn subway. Oh God. I will have to look that up. In fact, let me click here. Mass shooting Brooklyn. All right, let's see. In Brooklyn subway. Mass shooting and explosion. All right, we'll check that out. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. That's breaking news. Let's see. Also, good morning to Attack Alpaca. Moon! Hi, Moon! Moon's in the house. I yell Moon that way because I met Moon over on Ruin Leon's stream, and he always yells Moon! So I'm yelling Moon too. That's just how it goes. That's how you say it. Moon! Okay, and then also good morning, Nobody Not Me. Ty Alexander, what's up? Who else? Am I missing anybody? I think that's everybody in the chat so far. Oh no, there's a whole bunch down here too. GDSOB, what's up? I guess I am kind of caught up, except for that, except for GD and Trippy Liberty and K Shaw in the house. So what up? Nice to see you all. All right, let's go. Let's get into the topic of the day because I didn't tweet out the show there. Now I've tweeted out the show too. It's streaming live now. Okay, this is the 807th episode of the Morning Night Live, by the way, in case you cared. I don't know if you do. We'll see. All right. Lord Stanhope's in the house too. Gotcha. All right. So this particular video is the one that got me today because this is a young lady talking about her pronouns. And you know how much I love pronouns. I think pronouns are the greatest thing on the earth. You need to make sure that you listen to everybody's pronouns and make sure you don't get them wrong. Now, there's a thing we'll talk about my personal opinion on that though, because I do not follow the trend, okay? When I think of pronouns, particularly him, her, she, he, all that shit, they've always been a function of talking about a third person or another being, possibly. Not necessarily humans, but other people, things in the animal kingdom. Okay, we use pronouns, tall person in the house. We refer to people using those pronouns just as a way for people who are around you to, it just simplifies language so you don't have to say the name or specific thing every single time. You use a pronoun just in a manner to simplify your sentence structure for other people that you're talking to. And pronouns are basically used for the person you're talking to, not the subject of the pronoun. So if I'm talking about my dog, Clifford upstairs, Clifford is a male dog, and I will refer to Clifford as he and him depending on what the sentence I'm saying is. And it doesn't, my dog cannot choose their pronouns. It's based on in the English language, pronouns are based on the sex of the individual or animal or whatever you're talking about. Although occasionally there are inanimate objects that we have gendered in the English language, and it happens in other languages too. We gender things based on what they are. For what reason? I don't know. For example, we often refer to ships as she. Now, this whole gender idea came about as I think it was in the 50s when they were talking about how, I'm just giving you a lesson here. Someone began to notice, we gender inanimate objects. Are we using gender with people correctly? And in the 90s, became this thing where people decided that, maybe people aren't being the right gender, okay? And then we started talking about the whole idea of non-binary was kind of just a concept in the 90s, and once we got into the mid-2000s and then after 2010s, and people started discovering Tumblr, and all these people were theorizing about people being this and that and not and that and he and she and non-binary and all this stuff. Still though, the original intention of gender wasn't talking about human beings per se, but how we gave a gender, because gender used to be synonymous with sex, but then they decided it was a different thing because we were gendering non-inanimate objects. So the whole study of gender came kind of out of that thing, and then we just started saying, can people actually the gender they're saying? Well, for however long the English language has been used. And by the way, then we started talking about, I was looking up using they as a singular because some people want to be they, them. And it's like, well, no, they is usually a plural or an unknown or a multiple possibility. So if you're just talking about a general, if a person is walking down the street and they encounter a semaphore, okay, you can refer to them as they because there's multiple possibilities of what that person could be. You're saying a person, so you would say they or them because there's a multiple possibilities of what it could be. If you say a woman's walking down the street and comes to a semaphore or a corner or whatever, and then you would say her because there's not as many possibilities, and you already have a gender or a sex of the person or thing or whatever you're talking about. Then that's the single use of they, but they're saying that the singular use of they has been used forever, blah 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 blah. No, it's not a single use of they. They still refers to multiple possibilities. Okay, so they is always used as plural, even if you're talking about a hypothetical where there's a person and you don't know the sex of the person, you would say they because there's multiple possibilities, right? Okay, that's my personal thing. So now let's get into some of these videos, because this particular young lady is very, very adamant that she is irritated that people will not use pronouns. Now, I'm referring to her as her because I know that she's a female and I use pronouns. My use of language is based on what I know about the sex of the individual. Now, if the sex or the assumed sex, and I will assume pronouns, but let's just listen to this young lady because it's very fascinating how she takes it. It has her take on her pronouns, because she believes that there are people who are very excited when they use what she calls her correct pronouns, they and them. So let's talk to this. Let's just listen to this tickety talk right here.
Don't fucking treat our identities as an achievement.
Now, young lady, and I know that probably irritates you, but your identity is not an achievement. The only people who treat their identities as an achievement are the people who do this kind of bullshit. Okay? Your identity. And also who people use their identity to demand others treat them as special or something unique or something different. So anyway.
Call me they, them, and just call me they, them with the same effort you call a woman she, her, and a man he, him.
Okay, now, again, this is very, the whole they, them thing. Okay. There's a reason that I don't call you they, them. Okay. What? Well, I'll explain in a minute. Well, no, I'll explain it now. I need to speak to somebody else about you. Okay. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to another person. Now, pronouns are used to have the person speaking be understood by the person they are speaking to about a third party or a separate object. Now, if I'm talking to an old woman, I've made this speech before, but if I'm not even an old woman, if I'm look, I give you the bus analogy. This is bus theory. Okay, write this down. This is called bus theory. I've used this often. If I see this person in the video walking across the street and she's looking at her cell phone while she's walking across the street and she is about to walk into the path of a bus. Okay, this is bus theory. Write this down, class, bus theory. If this person is walking down the street, looking at her cell phone, walking across the street, and she's about to walk right into the path of a bus, and I see another person who's nearby, and I yell, "Stop them!" I'm communicating with a third person about the person about to walk into a path of a bus. And if I say, "Stop them," it's very unlikely that the person I'm talking to will understand what the hell I'm saying. Now, but if I yell, "Stop her," and okay, because even if I point at that person and say, "Stop them," the person's not going to understand me. But if I say, "Stop her," maybe she'll get saved from walking to a bus. Now, I don't necessarily know if I really want to save this girl from walking in front of a bus, but that's a whole nother question. Do not. Do not. I see what you said there, Avocados Diablo. Just let the bus hit them. No. Yeah, the bus will be fine though, won't it? Anyway, that's bus theory regarding to gender. Anyway, and pronouns. Anyway, let's go.
This isn't something you get to yes about.
But she's saying that. If I'm talking to a third person about her, am I buffering? Oh, do I? Hang on a second. Here, hang on. Why would I be buffering here? Is it working now? Oh, no, it's working. Okay, we're good. Let me put this back up here where I was. So, well, shoot, now I forgot. If she's not paying attention, bitch, you're about to die is acceptable too. Right. So, but again, I'm a third party talking, or I and another person have a conversation about someone who's over there. Okay. Now, the understanding between me and that person is what's paramount. Me using pronouns, not here to validate somebody else. So the idea that I would be discriminating against her or that's not discriminating. That is how I use language. So you trying to force me to use language in a different way than I choose to use language or have learned to use language over my longer than 50 years or more, or you don't have any right to tell me how I'm going to use language to communicate with someone I'm talking to so that they can understand. If I'm talking to an 80-year-old woman, Okay. It's not discriminating. It's me making sure that the person I'm talking to understands what I'm talking about. Anyway, let's see what else she says here.
You can do the bare minimum. So celebrating doing the bare minimum is fucking shitty. Do you know how it feels to be treated like somebody else's prize? Like if they show you basic human decency, it makes them feel better about themselves?
So here's the other part of this that really drives me crazy. So this person who says, oh, well, you shouldn't be happy that you said it the way I want you to say it, is also one of those people who would demand and celebrate if you said it right. Right? You know what I mean? I mean, she is one of these people who'd come down and would demand that you would say something, that you would speak her language instead of your own. If I went to France, okay, and I demanded that everyone spoke German. I demand it because I speak German and I demand that you speak German. How is that something I should be able to do? Or let me give you an English example. For example, if I'm from, well, I live in Minnesota, for example. Now, I say y'all a lot, but if I said, we say you guys, most people say you guys up here, which is a non-gender term for y'all, okay? It's used in a non-gender way up here, even though some people get really picky about whether or not guys is a gendered term. Well, in some places, it's just a colloquialism that people use. So if I go, now let's say now I go down to, how about, Greenbow, Alabama, home of Forrest Gump. If I go down to Greenbow, Alabama, right? And I'm in Greenbow, Alabama, and I'm a Minnesotan down there saying you guys a lot, and I hear some people saying y'all, and I would say, hey, you need to stop saying y'all. You need to say you guys. Y'all is just hickish and uneducated. You need to start saying you guys. Do I have a right to do that? Do I have a right to tell them how to speak in their own homeland, whatever? Okay, so the idea that the idea that I need to change how I use language to accommodate you or to validate you. I don't live to validate you. Okay, and this is one of those things of language where, again, this is how I use language. It's I don't know, a little bit nuts.
It shouldn't. It should make you feel like shit when you don't. Try my best.
No, it doesn't.
Don't. Just do it. I'm tired of people saying that going out of your comfort zone should be applauded. No, it should be fucking expected at this.
I'm tired of people telling me how I need to change my language to validate them. Now, if you can deny that you are a female, whether you live socially as non-binary, fine. But if I just happen to do it, it's very unlikely I'm going to start using they, them as a singular pronoun when I know, I have a cognitive conditioning to use language the way I use it. And no, you don't have a right to tell me how to use language. If it offends you, I'm sorry. Well, no, I'm not sorry because that's my language. I'm not going to start saying you guys when I live in Alabama just to accommodate you. You're in my house, basically. Real quick, thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite. And Black Hebrew Israelite, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you very much. Whoops. Come on. What the hell's going on here? There we go.
That's right.
Black Hebrew Israelite with dropping a deuce in the tip jar. Thank you. First sponsor of the day. Who says, I'm quoting here. You know what? This one requires music. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. I have special music for this one as I'm reading this. I'm going, yeah, this one needs some music. So let me pull up some. Let's see. I think I have the perfect music for this one. Give me a moment. Computer's moving a little slow. We'll go here. Here we go. Let's see. Okay, here we perfect. This will be it. Bitch, if I'm talking to you, a third person, you're not in the conversation, so they, them, will never come up. If I don't know you, I will call her a she or a bitch. But if I know her, I would call her by her name, Crazy Crackhead.
That's right.
There we go. Perfect. Yes. Thank you. Thank you again, Black Hebrews Light. That's fantastic. Thank you for sponsoring the show once again. All right. Anyway, do we need to watch the rest of her? Here, I'll give you the last Reader's Digest finish here. What else does she say?
Point. Non-binary humans exist, and
Non-binary humans exist. Okay, so they exist in your mind. There is no actual scientific classification. Is there? No, there's really no scientific classification of a non-binary. Non-binary is a choice. Okay, it's a so-called feeling, but there is no such thing as a non-binary human. You may call yourself that. You may want to say that, but yeah, not when it comes to pronouns. I guess. I don't know. Hello, Ginger Power. How are you? Thank you, Horrible Gamer, for sponsoring the show. And Horrible Gamer, you are the new Streamlab Superstar sponsor of the day. With a big, what's that guy? What was the guy that used to be the head of Godfathers? It was, he ran for president. Herman Cain, with a Herman Cain donation. The Herman Cain, a.k.a. 999, who says a possible terror attack in Brooklyn, New York City this morning. Reported people shot, explosions, unexploded devices found. Description: black man, 5'5", gas mask, orange vest. Yes, thank you very much. And I do have that article pulled up, I believe. Wait, what'd I do with it? Oh no, I switched it. Hang on a second. We're gonna check that breaking news too. What was that? There we go. We'll do that news in a minute here. As soon as I get done off of this topic, okay? That's gonna be second part. All right. So anyway, let's go back to crazy here.
we legally are acknowledged now. I have an X on my fucking license.
Yeah, that whole. There's a couple states. So she's either in Washington, possibly California, where you don't have to put your sex on a driver's license. That's the other thing that really bugs me about this. Okay, so now there's some states that are saying, oh, well, you can put non-binary on your driver's license. Why? We're not classifying whether or not what your social mental state is. It's the person putting that on your license is to determine if you are, what sex you are. And we still haven't said that there's not a non-binary sex other than the very extremely rare conditions of intersex people, which is 0.018% of the population. But that is not a substitute for your sex. So that is weird. That is weird. Unless they're born without a male or female sex organ. Yeah, exactly. Well, or both, with neither, which then you'd be in trouble because I don't know how you would function in life if you had neither. But anyway, so yeah, the X that there's some states who decided that they're going to be super inclusive and woke, and we're going to try to accommodate trans people. We're going to add this X. You know, the only thing I could see possibly, if they wanted to use that for people who've actually transitioned, sexual transition, right? So transsexual, not transgender, because transgender, even though people use that the social psychological idea that they can be a different gender, that doesn't change your sex, but they seem to think it's a substitute. So anyway, hermaphrodites rarely exist in any sufficient numbers to be considered anything but a her. Well, yeah, they're very rare. They're very rare. Hello, Rockhopper. Good morning, by the way. Dodge, duck, dive, duck, duck, go. And gray duck. Okay, that's a Minnesota joke if you didn't know what that meant. I have a PlayStation. She said achievement. Sony has trophies, not achievements. She's misconsoled me. I didn't even catch that. That is hilarious. I'm giving you one of these. There you go. All right. That's funny. Anyway, so let's watch the end of her.
So calling me a woman is discrimination. So if you
Calling you a woman is discrimination. Well, in most people's books, a woman is an adult human female. And it's not discrimination. How? How does it change your life if I call you a woman? Discrimination how? How is it discriminate? Can anyone in the chat can explain to me why calling her a woman, even if she identifies in her head as non-binary, which again, I'm trying to understand, but it doesn't make sense because, how exactly does that discrimination? I don't understand this.
call me a woman, you're a piece of shit. You are a discriminatory bigot. If you call me non-binary, you're doing the bare minimum. The absolute bare as fuck minimum.
Okay, so anyway, that's that's her opinion, and she's sticking to it. Okay, I will call you a female human. That's accurate also. So I'm not here to validate you, young lady. Nobody's here to validate you, and you're not special because you claim that you are neither. It's real. If that's, that's fine. You be you, but it doesn't mean that I have to validate your personal issues. So anyway, good morning. What's her name? What's happening? All right, let's move on. And here's the thing. So let's get into the issue where we're talking about this in schools, because this is becoming something that's being taught to people. And I have a hard time determining if this is a trend, if this is something that, because it's being taught. The people who were on Tumblr in 2016 that were pushing this stuff to the max are now the people who've graduated from college and are now teaching their kids. And it's really crazy. Real quick, thank you, Black Hebrew Rosary Light, for dropping another deuce in the tip jar. I love saying that. I don't know why. It says, oh, this one, well, does this need music? Nah, this one doesn't need music. Well, yes, it does. Let me pull up some music for this one too, because I generally like to use music when the language is special and colorful. So here we go. Let's try this one. I bet this crack whore learned this shit in college. And her body count is over a Black Hebrew Israelite. The end of the sentence isn't there. I'm trying to figure it out, but it's not there. But anyway, I bet this crack whore learned this shit in college. And her body count is over there's nothing there. Over 1 million? I don't know. Over Anyway, yes, it is. Okay, enough of that. Anyway, thank you, Black Keeper. Oh, over 100. Thank you. I bet her body count is over 100. Well, I don't know. Crack whores got to eat, and so and they got to fix their fix. So, anyway, so the reason this comes up in hello, Isabella, by the way. So the reason this comes up, again, is because of this bill in Florida that people are talking about. And they're saying, oh, no, these teachers aren't doing anything wrong. They're just doing what they're supposed to. They're not doing anything inappropriate. And so I found this is what kids are being taught. And I'm going to explain to you why maybe it's a problem after we look at this. So this is a teacher who says it's up to adults to make the classroom as welcoming to kindergartners who identify as transgender. Now, kindergartners who identify as transgender. Why exactly would there be a kindergartner who identifies as transgender? Remember, kindergartners are 5 to 6-year-olds, right? Kindergartners. Oh, it's people didn't understand what body count meant. Yeah, body count, slept with, sexed up. Anyway, anyway, I want you to listen to this teacher because this is fascinating. This is a teacher in Kansas, of all places. Kansas, what's the matter with Kansas?
Responsibility on the adults to say, okay, I have a student who identifies this way, and so it's my responsibility.
I haven't, dude. Again, how do you have? They send you your Streamlabs. I doubt it. Why would they do that for 100? 100's okay. Anyway, unless unless a parent taught them this.
To make sure the classroom is inviting to them. Just like it is to someone who might be Asian, Laotian, Korean.
No. See, a child who's Asian or Laotian has immutable traits that no one chose for them. Okay. And even a kid who comes in who perhaps has a handicap or disabled, whatever they call it these days. I don't know if I'm even allowed to say that anymore. No. That's an immutable trait that has nothing to do with something that someone decided that they're going to teach them and choose for them. What is he talking about?
Whatever the identity is.
Okay, so that and then he goes. I think there's more here because that's the short version. Is that? Oh wait. Oh, that's not the whole thing. Here we go.
Ready when they've been exposed to information, they're ready to learn about it, whether you think they are or not. And the research says that there is no age too young to talk about pretty much anything. If they know about it, they're ready to learn about it.
Okay, there's no age that kids are too young to know about anything. It's because they've been exposed to it. They're never too young to learn about it. Okay. How about cannibalism? Is that something that you should teach a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old? A 7-year-old can know they're trans. Their mommy told them so. Exactly. Anyway.
Right. So there is no, what we think is always age appropriate. It is if they don't know about it. If they haven't been exposed to it, then yeah, you can give them time to develop. But once they're exposed to it, and social media is going to do it, right?
Again, remember, he's talking about kindergartners here. He's talking about kindergartners. If they're exposed to it on social media, really? Why is a kindergartner on social media? Other than the most basic of seeing mom's Facebook page or something.
I know some kindergartnens in this school with cell phones.
Okay, that's a parenting issue. And
so they
really they have cell phones, like you're buying your kindergartner smartphones. I'm not sure why you would do that. We didn't give our kids phones until about 4th grade or whatever, and basically it's just so they can make calls. I don't know if I would give a fourth grader a smartphone, but even though some kids have them, I don't know. But anyway,
They get access to information. They can learn quickly. The world is teaching them faster than probably you are.
okay,
So,
why?
The extent to which we can have
But again, who should be talking to them about it? That's the question here, and that's what the parental rights bill is about. It's not about whether they're exposed to things. It's who should be talking to them about it. Why would you expect the school to talking about it? I had a TikTok and an OnlyFans at age entire. You were socially and emotionally highly developed, though. That's,
conversations with parents around how do we want to approach talking about LGBTQ plus, because there's students as early as kindergarten who are identifying as non-gender conforming, non-binary.
Only because there are parents telling them that nonsense. Because kids don't know anything you haven't taught them.
That are transgender. And so because they're in our school, they're in our classrooms.
Are they now?
Then that becomes a responsibility on the adults to say, okay.
Just wait, though. He's not wrong.
I have a student who identifies this way.
He's not 100% wrong on this, and I'm going to show you why.
Is inviting to them, just like it is to someone who might be Asian, Laotian.
Okay, so that's where you already got to that part. So that's fascinating, right? So you laugh at him because he says, "Oh, I have students that actually identify that as that, right?" Well, and when I first said, I'm like, the hell are you talking about? Well, there might be a reason for that. And so we found this. Teacher in Texas claims that 24th graders out of 32 students identify as LGBTQ. Oh, fascinating. Now, how did this happen? Well, a Texas teacher claimed that 20 of her 32 fourth grade students came out to her as LGBTQ, according to internal messages from the district reviewed by the Daily Caller. Now, what's funny about this, okay? She claims that 20 of her 32 students, fourth grade, came out to her. Now, why would kids claim to be LGBTQ? Did you ever, probably the same way kids in my day and age in elementary school became smokers. Okay? Now, let me give you why this is an analogy. Because back in my day, growing up in the 70s, right? Kids thought it was cool to smoke. And so there was always some cool kid who started smoking, right? And so there was some kid in the elementary school that you'd catch them out behind some building or whatever, and they would be smoking, right? And so other kids would, they'd be like, "Oh, wow, that's really wild. Can I try that?" Or they would think it's cool, right? And so if you asked probably a class of 20, if one, like say you were in the class, no teacher in the class, because you're not supposed to smoke. Every kid knows they weren't supposed to smoke. But if you thought it was cool to smoke, and you went into a class of 30 kids and asked them, "Hey, how many of you smoke? Raise your hand if you smoke." Oh, would some kids just raise their hand because they thought it was cool? Or if someone said, "Have you ever made homemade ice cream?" Okay, and a bunch of kids were in a room, and you said, "You know what? You know what's really cool? You know what's really cool, kids? Is people who make homemade ice cream." Okay, people who make homemade ice cream is really, really cool, right? And how many of you kids have ever made homemade ice cream? How many of those kids do you think would raise their hand just because they thought, "Well, I don't want to be uncool. So I'm going to say, well, we've made homemade ice cream, right?" Well, when you start having pride parades for kindergartens and first and second graders, and you start saying that, "Well, this is really cool," and you're Superman. Remember we talked about the Superman closet the other day? And you have a Superman closet for the kids who want to come to school, but you want to hide the fact from their parents that they're identifying as a different sex, And I say sex and gender and interchangeably because at that age it's just their sex, their physical sex. They want to identify as a girl who wants to identify with boys. They're Superman. Well, if you keep putting those messages in their head, by 3rd or 4th grade, they think it's cool and special to be that. So, and again, LGBTQ, do you know how broad that has become? How broad that category has become? How would a 4th grader know they were a lesbian, gay, or bisexual? How would they even know? They're not even going through puberty yet. Or they're just, some are just barely touching the corners of puberty. So how would they know if they were the LGB part, right? Or the trans part? Oh, a boy, now that I'm a girl, and a girl I'm now a boy, okay? Or the Q part, or the plus, and the two-spirit, or whatever. How would they know that in 4th grade? But you've made it really cool to be different, and now everyone wants to be different. 20 of her 32 students came out as LGBTQ. The Austin Independent District Blackshear Elementary School hosted a pride parade. They hosted a pride parade. Oh, cool. Isn't that neat? Rainbows are really cool looking things, and when they're in the sky, that flag looks like a rainbow. They held a pride parade for elementary schoolers, which the school principal dubbed a wellness walk. Oh, so maybe they just think it means you're well, according to internal messages originally obtained by the Twitter account. Oh, so it was a gay pride walk, but they call it a wellness walk, so no, the parents wouldn't know. So when you go home, kids, call this a wellness walk. One teacher launched into a tirade against having a wellness walk during Pride Week. It takes away from the experiences of celebrating pride. Pride, again, pride, proud. It's marketing for children to be proud and have pride. So I want to have pride. I should be LGBTQ too. See where I'm going there? I feel it's inappropriate to call our parade this morning a wellness walk at all. While I understand that wellness walk is something that was previously in motion to promote health and fitness and is something we want to continue, it really takes away from the experience of celebrating pride to couple the two, the teacher said. The first Pride was a riot. It was not enough to just welcome, love, and celebrate queer folks, she continued. So this teacher is very upset that they called it a wellness walk instead of a pride walk. So they changed it to a pride parade. Anyway. But yeah, again, it's if you're messaging as a kid, well, yeah, they're going to tell you that they're 20 of 32. That's not even statistically possible. That's crazy. Anyway, now, and then finally, I wanted to show you this because this guy, I'm sure you may have seen this gentleman, this gentleman, I'll call him for all practical purposes, but this is a gem too.
And something cool about me, Miss Hammond?
Oh, by the way, here's what this is. Let me set this up for you. So this is a first grade teacher, and he records an identity share Zoom call with K through 2nd grade where he spoke about being trans. Yes, you heard that right. Kindergarten through 2nd grade, first grade teacher, and felt that this is important. I have a thought about this too, and it may not be related to what you're going to think is, but here's what this person has to say.
All right. So something that's really cool and unique about who I am is that I am transgender.
Again, something really cool and unique. Now, this is interesting for a little bit different reason as far as I'm concerned.
So we touched a little bit about that at the beginning of this week in the book that Miss Hammond read, but I'm going to give you my
They read a book about that in 1st grade. Fan-fucking-tastic.
explanation about what it means to be transgender as well. So when babies are born, the doctor looks at them and they make a guess about whether the baby is a boy or a girl. Based
Say what? A guess? No, no, no. The doctor does not make a guess about whether you are a boy or a girl. Boy and girl, in the case of a newborn child, is referencing whether or not the child is male or female. They're not making a guess, they're making an observation, which probably 99.9, what is it, 992% of the time, they're going to be correct through observation of whether or not the child is a boy, male, or a girl, female. Those are synonymous for a newborn infant, okay? This is not a social determination. It is a sexual determination, physiological versus psychological. They are 99.9% of the time correct when they say it's a boy or girl because they're telling you whether or not the child is male or female. It is not... They're not assigning a gender. They're telling you what the sex of the child is, okay? Because we're not using it synonymously. And that's, well, anyway.
Based on what they look like. And most of the time, that guess is 100% correct. There are no issues whatsoever. But sometimes the doctor is wrong. The doctor...
Really? Oh, so the doctor's wrong. Again, they're not assigning a sex.
Makes an incorrect guess. When the doctor makes
a guess, it's interesting how this person uses the word guess. Also, I'm just curious.
Guess, that's goes when a person is
about
called
something.
cisgender.
I'll tell you in a second.
When a doctor's guess is wrong, that's when they are transgender. I'm a man, but when I was a baby, the doctors told my parents I was a girl. And so my parents gave me a name that girls typically have and bought me clothes that girls typically wear.
And then did they tell you? Did you tell them about the part where then you had to take drugs and go through a really wrenching mental and physical state and have parts of your body cut off? Of course, this is first graders, so that's probably not age appropriate. But I still have a question. Here comes the question's coming. I'll at the end I'll ask the question.
I was 18 years old. Everyone thought I was a girl, and this was super, super uncomfortable for me because I knew that wasn't right. The way I like to describe it is like wearing a super itchy sweater. The longer you wear it, the itchier it gets, and the only way to make the itching stop is to have everyone see and know the person that you really are. So when I was 18, I told my family and my friends that I'm really a boy, and it was like this huge weight had been lifted off of my shoulders, and I had the freedom to be who I truly am.
Okay, now, first question I have. First of all, I'm not 100% sure why a person who is transgender or transsexual would even want first graders to know this. If you are a person who really truly feels that you are something, the other sex or other, I'll use their term, gender, right? Why would you want to let your first graders know that you are actually different from what you are presenting as? Because that's what you just told the kids now. You told them that you are not, you present as a man, you took the hormones and did all the work to be a man, and now you're actually telling them that you're something else? Because that's what you're telling them. If a trans man is a man, what's the point of telling them that you were a girl? What's the point of that? I don't get it. This female person is letting them know that this is a female person, but you're a man. How does that work? Now the reason why would I want to have to explain this to a first grader? And now, guess what? Who are the people that a lot of little kids look up to most? They're teachers, right? And and for all I know, This teacher may be a great teacher who has great rapport with the kids and does a really good job teaching them reading and letters and math and all that other stuff. And now they look up to this person and think, oh, that's cool. I really like this teacher. Now I know that this person's transgender. I wonder how this happens. Teacher claims 20 fourth graders out of 32 students identify as LGBTQ. Well, my first grade teacher was my favorite teacher ever. And he told me he used to be a girl. Because that's how the kids are going to process that information. They're not going to process it that, oh, this teacher is a boy and was always a boy. That's not how first graders think. First graders are going to think, oh my gosh, he used to be a girl. Well, I'm a girl. Maybe I can be a boy. I'm a boy. Maybe I can be a girl. Oh, teacher claims 20 fourth graders out of 32 students identify as LGBTQ. Do parents have a right to maybe want to hold off on this stuff until they might be able to understand a little better? I don't know. And that, my friends, is what I think the Florida bill is about. Now, I get a lot of these videos from or a lot of this stuff comes from the account Libs of TikTok. If you're familiar with the Libs of TikTok account, has all kinds of videos and stuff. A lot of it lately has been focused on the teachers and the pronouns and different things that's where she came from. There's several others, but there was another account that was doing this just recently. Because of the big Florida hubbub, right? It was called Teachers Exposed. Well, the Teachers Exposed account, in Twitter at least, has recently been suspended. I'm curious as to why, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Libs of TikTok account got yeeted eventually too, because they put a lot of this, but they may, I'm curious what the Teachers Exposed does. It may be that the Teachers Exposed tends to tell where the teachers are from, although Libs of TikTok did that with this particular teacher. So I don't know, who knows, but and I've seen other accounts that do this that have been suspended also. So very, very interesting. All right, real quick, let me go back to this. I want to go to this happening in Brooklyn that is breaking news as of today. Apparently 13 people were injured in a Brooklyn subway shooting. Undetonated devices were found. So this could be some sort of terrorist incidents too. At least 13 people were injured, including 7 who were shot when a suspect set off a smoke grenade and unleashed gunfire in a Brooklyn subway train during Tuesday morning rush hour. The New York Police Department and law enforcement sources told the New York Post the bloody attack broke out around 8:30 a.m. in a Manhattan-bound train at the 36th Street station in Sunset Park. Oh, there is video too of people running too. The suspect, who was dressed in apparent construction garb similar to an MTA worker and donning a gas mask, according to a witness, is believed to have set off a smoke grenade moments before the gunfire erupted, police sources told the Post. 5 people were shot on one subway and 2 on another, a source says. The footage showed screaming passengers spewing out into the platform as soon as the train doors opened and clouds of smoke billowed out. Graphic photos on social media show the injured lying on blood-stained subway platform forms. Strap hanger, who was on the train when the violence broke out, told the Post there were so many rounds fired off, she lost count. Try to skip past the blood. I'm trying to, but it's hard. There was like lots of them. So anyway, this is being touted as a possible terror attack. Let me copy and paste this so you'll have the tab when I tab this in the links. And then also, let's see if there might be a TV report on this too. Have they blamed white supremacists yet? Yeah, not yet that I know of. Let's see CNN. Let's try the CNN article here. Wait, what the hell happened there? Oh. All right, here, this is CNN. And this is the CNN article, apparently near Sunset Park, which is, I don't know if you're familiar with New York City. 2 sources said 5 people were shot. A male suspect possibly wearing a gas mask. So it's basically the same story. So there's a couple links to it there. Don't know any details. It's saying, let's see. Yeah, it's on multiple stations here. Multiple outlets have links to this, so I'll leave a couple in the tabs there. All right, let me get into a couple of the things that I was going to get besides the main topic of the day. Questions loom from the Whitmer kidnapping attempt. This is, if you haven't been following Julie Kelly on American Greatness, click this link in the tabs in the articles that I put in the links down below. Again, by the way, everything I put in this or have in this stream, every article, every TikTok, every Twitter, every article will be added to a link in the description down below at the end of the show. During the outro, I put it's called a one-tab link where you can click one link and then every single thing will be listed with hyperlinks to each story. So question looms after the verdicts in the Whitmer kidnapping trial. Julie Kelly from American Greatness has been huge reporting on this and on the January 6th stuff. It's impossible to overstate the significance of the verdicts handed down last week. 4 men charged with conspiring to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitler, which is my name for her.
Gotcha, bitch.
In 2020 and use a weapon of mass destruction in the process, despite sworn testimony from several FBI experts and agents, including the primary FBI informant, Dan Chappell, not to be confused with Dave Chappelle, who was compensated at least $60,000 by the Bureau for his involvement. Endless federal resources and favorable rulings by a judge to withhold evidence and testimony. A jury of 12 Americans rejected the government's case in a cold fashion on Friday in a Grand Rapids courtroom. The Justice Department did not win a single conviction. 2 men walked free after 18 months in prison, and 2 men remained behind bars as prosecutors prepare to retry them after a hung jury and could not agree on their guilt. What the juries did agree on, however, is the Federal Bureau of Investigation engaged in entrapment. Defense attorneys, with the consent of the Chief District Court Judge Robert Jonker, argued that the FBI attempted to induce their clients into committing the alleged kidnapping crime. Quote, when I look into what happened in the case, I'm ashamed of the behavior of the leading law enforcement agency in the United States. Joshua Blanchard, the lawyer representing Barry Croft Jr., who was not acquitted last week, told jurors in his closing statement. Another defense attorney, Christopher Gibbons, said it was unacceptable that the federal government framed the men under the guise of thwarting a domestic terror attack. They don't make terrorists, so we can arrest them. They don't make terrorists, so we can arrest them, Gibbons said. Anyway, that is, of course, precisely what the Justice Department and FBI did, and it was not just a few rogue agents. After all, key officials described the case as one of the largest domestic terrorism investigations in recent history. Undercover agents and informants operated out of multiple FBI field offices across the eastern half of the country. Sworn testimony during the trial and other court hearings confirmed that the plan had the blessing of higher-ups in Washington, D.C. One FBI agent told the jury that the use of drones, airplanes, and other surveillance tools used to collect evidence against the defendants required a multi-layer approval process at the top. Consider this exchange between Richard Trask, one of the lead FBI agents on the case, who was later fired by the agency for assaulting his wife, working out of the Detroit field office, and a defense attorney during the October 2020 hearing after the defendants were arrested. Defense. Now, when this, since you had undercover agents involved in this case, I assume that there additional steps are taken at the FBI to approve an undercover operation, right? Trask says that's correct. The defense. It's not as if you just declare that you're conducting an undercover operation on your own. You need supervisor approval, at least, right? Correct. And then it probably even goes to the headquarters level, right? That's correct. And FBI headquarters would then meet with the Department of Justice and review the plan and objectives, right? That would be correct, Trask answered. He further testified he didn't know when the Justice Department signed off on the kidnapping caper and other related plots, such as a separate plan to kidnap and possibly kill Ralph Northam, the Democratic governor of Virginia, during the same time period. Trask may not know when the honchos at the Justice Department approved the operation, but the American people deserve to find out who was responsible for the FBI's flagrant attempt, not just to set up innocent men, but again, interfere in the presidential election. And this absolutely was an attempt to interfere in the presidential election because they were trying to frame Trumpers. Any inquiry should begin with former Attorney General William Barr. Yeah, what did he know about this? Anyway, on October 29th, 2020, the day after Whitmer and presidential candidate Joe Biden lashed out at President Trump, blaming him for inciting the phony kidnapping scheme, Barr said through a spokesman that the defendant's conduct was abhorrent, and he was truly supportive of the FBI's investigation. Barr's office also said he had been briefed on the case, or hadn't been briefed on the case until the week of the arrest. That could be entirely true, but Republicans need to find out if it's true. Who at the main office of the Justice Department knew about the sting operation? What about John Demers, the former chief of the National Security Division that aided in the investigation and subsequent prosecution? What role did Demers or any of the top officials play in authorizing the deployment of costly equipment such as airplanes to coordinate the plot? If they knew, why did they not inform Barr? So there's a few other questions she asks here, but it's a great article. Glowies got caught. Anyway. As far as Ukraine goes, Boris Johnson's visit puts pressure on Joe Rahim Biden to also visit Kyiv. I don't see it happening. And although it'd be go visit some of Hunter's business buddies. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson made a statement by visiting Kyiv and walking the streets of Ukraine with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. Johnson's visit puts more pressure on Biden to do the same, especially since he avoided Ukraine during his European trip. There's some video of that. Zelensky says tens of thousands have been killed in Mariupol. And then he also apparently spoke to Scott Pelley of 60 Minutes in Kyiv. CBS published a transcript on his website, which I'll link in the description down below. If you want to see that, the interview is also linked in this video, or the video's in this particular article, so you can look at that. But I'm going to move on. Putin is shrugging off the financial sanctions as the ruble has rebounded. Remember, the ruble was down like 85% in value during the start of this. Well, it's bounced back. God, I wish I would have taken 10 grand and put it in rubles right at the beginning when I knew it was like 15% of its value, because then I would have a lot more money in the bank right now. Anyway, Vladimir Putin's Russia is earning more from its energy exports than it was before it invaded Ukraine. Oh, perfect. Oh, and the ruble has bounced back to its pre-war value. Tell us again about those crippling sanctions. Yes, President Joe Biden on Friday signed 2 bills expanding U.S. financial restrictions on Russia, and National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan says we will keep working on additional ways to deny them revenue. Well, they keep selling their oil, and the oil prices keep going up, so what are you doing? Oh, all you're doing is hurting us. You're hurting us. Anyway, there's a few more articles about that. Go to hell. Jen Psaki warned of extraordinarily elevated inflation data and blames the Putin price hike. Yes, they're blaming this on Putin still. Although, the inflation is kind of hitting worldwide, but a lot of that's because of our inflation. P-Dog, I'm late sipping coffee. Well, thank you for joining in late, Melissa. You can watch the rest of the show later, or you can scroll back and put it on 1.5 times speed, and I'll try to talk slower so you can understand it. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki warned Monday that the administration is expecting extraordinary elevated monthly inflation data. What do you mean by extraordinarily elevated? You mean like it's high? The Consumer Price Index for March is expected to be released Tuesday, and experts predict it will show an 8.4% inflation over the past year. Well, let's check that out. Let's see what it actually says. Consumer price. Oops. I did not hit the right keys. Consumer Price Index. Let's see if there's any news on the Consumer Price Index today. Where's Consumer Price Index shows March inflation at 8.5%, highest since 1981. Gosh. So that's when we were reeling from inflation in the 70s, and so Reagan's first year in office. The Labor Department released its Consumer Price Index on April 12th, and the 12-month increase, which has been steadily rising, is the largest since the period ending December 1981 and slightly higher than economists' expectation. Indexes for gasoline, shelter, and food were the largest contributors to the seasonally adjusted all items increase, with gas accounting for half of the increase, according to the Labor Department. Yeah, not good. The CPI, which measures what consumers pay for goods and services, including clothes, groceries, restaurants, meals, recreation activities, and vehicles, increased 1.2% in March on a seasonally adjusted basis after rising 0.8% in February. Yeah, so she was right. 8.4 is a little bit higher than she predicted. Now, but she says that the blame is Russian President Vladimir Putin for the incoming elevated numbers. Quote, here she is. Oh, this is a commercial. I don't want to hear a commercial. Well, at least it's a quiet commercial. 3. Let's see if they only give me 1 this time. Nope. Nope. 2. Nope. Don't want that. Come on. Go away. And there we go. Come on, 3, 2, 1. Let's see if Jen herself.
To an earlier question on the CATSA waiver that would be required, I don't have an update at this point in time. I can see if there's more to report out to you for the end of the day. Go ahead.
Tomorrow is CPI day. It's probably obviously going to capture the start of the war and pretty significant spikes in energy. Can you give us a sense of what you're expecting and what, if any, change this will make for what talks may or may not be going on with the Hill on what pieces that may or may not be passed of a bill that may or may not have a name?
Sounds very hypothetical and hopeful. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not hopeful.
These numbers to be
Sure. No,
intact on the strategy to pass what you believe to
Sure.
be inflation cooling measures in
Yes,
the medium term.
I understand your question.
You don't know what you're doing.
So because of the actions we've taken to address the Putin price hike, we are in a better place than
The
we were.
Putin price hike. And we're better. Oh, we're in a better place than we were? Wait a minute. Better place than we were when?
Last month.
No. We're not in a better place than we were last month. It's higher. The Consumer Price Index, highest since 1981 today. We're not in a better place than we were then. You lying. I won't say it.
We expect March CPI headline inflation to be extraordinarily elevated due to Putin's price hike. And we
it's
expect
Putin's
a large
fault.
difference between core and headline inflation, reflecting the global disruptions in energy and food markets. So core inflation doesn't include energy and food prices. Headline inflation does. And of course, we know that
good Lord.
core inflation, energy, the impact of energy, of course, on oil prices, gas prices, we expect that to continue to reflect what we've seen the increases be over the course of this invasion. And just as an example, since President Putin's military buildup accelerated in January, average gas prices are up more than 80 cents. Most of the increase occurred in the month of March, and at times gas prices were more than $1 above pre-invasion.
So they're up 80 cents. In, January of 2021, average U.S. gas prices were $2.19 a gallon. Before Putin invaded, gas prices averaged in the United States were $3.49 a gallon. And now, when Putin invaded, 80 cents, $4.20 a gallon. Wait a minute. What about that other $1.30 or $1.20, $1.20, whatever cents it was, a gallon that were before Putin invaded? just curious.
Invasion level. So that roughly 25% increase in gas prices will drive tomorrow's inflation reading. And certainly it's not a surprise to us, but we certainly think it will be reflected. And in March, again, to give you a point of
And you got to remember too, because I buy food pretty much 3-4 times a week, because we don't buy more food than we're gonna cook, except for the stuff I have in the freezer down in the basement. But food prices haven't changed dramatically as far as I've seen since the Putin price hike. I've seen certain things go up, but not not like fuel. So while oil is a big part of the inflationary numbers, it's certainly not the driver. A lot of these things were already much, much higher.
comparison, the average.
Okay, I don't even want to listen to her. Let's move on. And also, but the voters know that Biden is blamed for higher prices. The RNC slams the White House for pinning the inflation on Putin price hike. So here's how the RNC is responding to them. On Monday, the Daily Wire reported that the Biden administration is still blaming Russian President Vladimir Putin for rising inflation and other economic woes in America, despite evidence showing the costs were soaring before Russia ever invaded Ukraine. In response to the White House's comment, Nicole Morales, the Republican National Committee spokesman, slammed President Joe Biden while claiming that the American people aren't buying his excuses for rising costs during Monday's press. Okay, we already saw the press briefing. So let's see. Where is it? As pointed out in the New York editorial board in January 2022, the president and his party can no longer escape blame for the Biden inflation tax, which hits poorest Americans hardest. As argued by the Post, Biden's only solution to this ongoing problem has been spending more money. The Post claimed at the time that he should make more of an effort to get the government out of the economy. So yeah, there's you can read this, but the RNC is responding to that in a way that is probably appropriate. All right. It's almost time to be done here. A couple other things. Now I saw this. I think we might have seen this the other day, but apparently there's some left-wing activists who are suggesting that you deflate people's SUV tires to fight climate change. Remember, climate change is the big battle coming up, right? So there's a left-wing environmental activist group that proposed deflating the tires of sports utility vehicles as a radical act of protest against climate change. Adbusters, an activist group that describes itself as a collective of artists, designers, writers, musicians, poets, punks, philosophers, and wild hearts, has been smashing ads, fighting corruptions, and speaking truth to power, and has been tied to Occupy Wall Street protests in 2011. Called for activists to deflate SUV tires in a Twitter thread on Tuesday. I think, did we go through this? I don't know if you saw this. I'm going to put it on here. Here's their Twitter thread, and we'll go through this, then I'm going to have to move on. Can you please explain to kids in class that only female great white sharks, killer whales, and only female great white sharks, killer whales, and have babies? I'm not sure what that means. So here's what they did. Here's their Twitter thread. And I'll leave the article in the tabs too. Time to do something about SUVs. They're the second largest contributor to the increase in global CO2 emissions since 2010, more than aviation. First of all, I'm just curious how they know this, because emissions actually have lowered in cars, even though we have more cars on the road. So I'm not sure what they mean. But anyway, this general escalation of methods to drive urgency of this climate change crisis home and engender a systemic aversion to SUVs. The SUV flat tire challenge is what they're calling it. Okay? They're saying that you should, first step is wedge a piece of gravel in the tire valve. Second step, slap a leaflet on the dash to let them know. Third step, walk away. So they say, and it says that here, it's that simple. If we organize, we can hit enough SUVs in particular neighborhoods to spark reporting and spread the meta meme. We do this neighborhood at a time to make the biggest splash, organize a crew off of any traceable apps, stay off traceable apps, and make leaflets that lay out the case for climate action. The mission is not to win individual converts at this point, but to engender systemic aversion to SUVs. No, you're going to piss off a lot of people and have them buy in weapons to shoot your ass. Climate change is the biggest crisis we face as a species, and we are failing the test at every step. It is time for us to carefully escalate our methods to any non-violent manner and convey the seriousness of this crisis in tangible ways. A flat tire is non-violent. There's no property damage. It is a huge pain in the ass. We've seen this method succeed in Sweden and have initial success in UK with T extinguishers, articles warning off SUV purchases at risk of being targeted. Time to go global. Targeting SUVs is a good way to hit the automotive industry where it hurts. SUV sales are playing a massive role in the expansion of the auto industry, both as a percentage of global market share and in total numbers. And that increase is setting the climate back massively. Start by targeting wealthy areas. Our goal isn't to disrupt workers, and avoid targeting vehicles with disabled stickers or hangers. To quote Malm, if we cannot get rid of the most preposterously unnecessary emissions, how are we going to begin moving forward to zero? Apparently there's a person down here. Oh, this is just an activist who's being interviewed. Oh my God, these people are insane. So anyway, by the way, with Earth Day coming up, there's a great article in the American Thinker that I'm putting in the links. Here's what it is. It's with Earth Day coming up, it's a good time to remind the public what the predictions were 52 years ago when the first Earth Day happened. On the first Earth Day in April 22nd, I'll just give you a synopsis. The world was warned in April 22nd, 1970, the world was warned billions would die soon because of a disastrous ice age. The Earth had been cooling for 30 years and it was about to get much worse. Crops would not survive the ice age, so people couldn't be fed. The Earth was cooling even though CO2, the population, and fossil fuel consumption was rising rapidly, which we were told causes warming. The complicit media dutifully repeated these warnings to scare the public with no questions and no research. The warnings were 100% wrong because they were wags, wild-ass guesses, and instead of based scientific data. In fact, there was in 1922, this was in the Washington Post to scare the public. Again, there was no research or questions or scientific data before they published the piece. Then in 1989, the UN essentially gave the same warnings as 1922. And then, that's about global warming. And the sycophant media reported it to scare the public with no questions asked because they don't care when they are campaigning for a leftist agenda to destroy America. So the predictions in 22 and 1989 were 100% wrong, just like the predictions on the first Earth Day, because there was also wags, wild-ass guesses. It's scientifically impossible for fossil fuels consumption and rising CO2 to cause both cooling and warming. This is not a hard concept. Anyway, they go on and tell you different predictions that have not come to fruition, and it's a great article, so you can check that out. And then finally, just to tell you what else is here, a University of Buffalo student was hunted down by a woke mod for hosting an Alan West speech, and they were screaming at him. Also, in illegal insurrection in New Jersey, a man allegedly yelled anti-Semitic slurs as police arrested him for stabbing 3 Jewish people. Well, it doesn't count because he was a brother. So, but the ADL was saddened and outraged by a series of attacks that occurred in Lakewood and Jackson, New Jersey on April 8th, which culminated in an alleged anti-Semitic stabbing of an Orthodox Jewish man. We appreciate law enforcement's quick apprehension of the subject. And then they have a full statement. It won't get any more play than that. Debs in Philadelphia, they're going to reimpose an indoor mask mandate. Look, by the way, we're going to do one. Let's see, where is it? I'm going to get rid of that. There's a bunch of other articles, but the one last thing is I wanted to show you. Did I put the Clapper clip up here? Where did I do with that? Oh, here, let's go. James Clapper, because this is the one. Get ready, because we already know that there's going to be, well, there's going to be they keep saying there's going to be a bloodbath in the next elections, right? That's kind of the thesis, that the Republicans are going to have a really good election, right? Well, there was where is it? Damn it, let's get the right clip here. Here's a prediction. They're going to blame it on Russia. They're already starting to blame it on Russia. Here is former National Intelligence Director, lying shitbag, James Clapper, who says, they're saying that, here's it's right in the middle of here. So
even more brutality against
are proficient
listen
at
to this. Listen to the end
killing
of this.
innocent people, non-combatants, and destroying civilian infrastructure. And I guess he's pretty good at that. So yes, I fear.
Listen to Wolf's question, because they're talking about the brutality of the Russians coming through and killing a lot of people and then all this stuff. But listen to this. I'm going to just play the end of the clip.
The horror of what we've witnessed in Mariupol and other places is going to be compounded.
Listen, here comes Wolf Blitzer.
This guy.
Intelligence suggests, by the way, that Vladimir Putin may respond to U.S. military support for Ukraine by ramping up its efforts to interfere in U.S. elections. You, of course, saw that firsthand.
Did you hear what he said? Now, first of all, intelligence reports say that it's possible that maybe if things go bad for Putin and if the U.S. keeps supporting the Ukrainians, that somehow, maybe, kind of, sort of, that he might likely ramp up efforts to interfere in elections. Do you see where that's going? This is a foreshadowing of what their strategy is going to be when they get wiped out in the midterms.
Back in 2016, how worried should we be about a more aggressive Russian election interference program?
Well, we should be concerned about it, but I think we learned a lot the hard way in 2016, and there have been a great many improvements, at least from a cyber standpoint. I think we still have issues with what I'll call cognitive security.
What? How's that? How's that?
How well we're able to forestall Russian use of social media to influence opinions and to capitalize on the divisiveness and polarization in this country.
We're all going to be Russian bots, and the Russians are going to buy more Facebook ads. Yay! Strap in, people. Strap in. FTG. Can you feel it coming? That's going to be their excuse. Russia. And on that note, if you haven't hit the like button yet, what's wrong with you? Hit the like button, share the stream before, during, and after the stream, please. And also, if you're if you're watching on a replay, put a comment in the comment section so that I know you were here, and I'll give you some sort of reply. And finally, thanks to our sponsors today, Black Hebrew Israelite, A Horrible Gamer. You are special people. A Horrible Gamer, you are the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. If you'd like to sponsor the show, or excuse me, or just want to know where you can drop a deuce in the tip jar, just like Black Hebrew Israelite, you can go to pdognight.live and watch the show there, participate in the chat, and also sponsor the show in the upper left-hand corner. Also follow me on social media at pdognight on most platforms. You can find me there, except for Truth Social, because I'm too skeptical about Truth Social so far. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for being here. I'm way past my bedtime. Well, not my bedtime, but you know what I mean. Gotta go. So, thanks again. Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock. I'll be back tomorrow. My name is P. Dog Night. And I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is P-Dog Night, and thanks for watching today on the P-Dog Night channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Night, and I'm out of here.